The senior class president is Nicholas Brown. He comes from Columbus. He majored in economics. He did very well. He didn't do as well as, say, Sarah, but he did really well. And I get to read a sentence that I don't know that I would ever read, didn't think I would ever read about a student at Hillsdale College. He is president of the Entrepreneurship Club, and he does lots of volunteering, and he's an incredibly organized kid. But also, he co-owned and operated, I'm just reading this because I can't believe it, Beechwood Avenue Limited, a startup clothing design firm that manufactured and sold upscale men's attire, and this lasted for a year and 4 months, which means I guess it went bust after that time. But isn't it like a dog walking on its hind legs? The miracle was it was done at all. Nick is among the senior class officers who, he's a very artful kid. Nick, are you walking up here? Start walking. So these kids came loaded for bear this year. And it wasn't like the year Morrell graduated when they wanted Chuck Norris. Clarence Thomas has been in the top 5 on the senior class list to be commencement speaker for the 16 years that I have been here. And I have never been willing to invite him, and the reason is I know how busy he is, and I've always regarded it as an imposition. And as you can tell, I wish to be of service to him rather than the other way around. So I've always told them no. But this year they showed up, and Whalen helped them, I think, with the argument that perhaps Justice Thomas is offended that you have not asked him. Now, that is sophism taken to a high pitch. Can you imagine the poor justice sitting there in his chambers in the Supreme Court worrying whether I'm going to ask him to come here and give And so I smiled when they said that, and I said, okay, that's pretty good. I said, I will write that in the letter to him. And I did. So we all owe a very great debt to Senior Class President Nicholas Brown.
Good afternoon. Thank you to Dr. Arnn, Justice Thomas, the rest of the platform party, faculty and staff, parents and friends. Without you, this wouldn't be the celebration it ought to be. And to my fellow graduates, congratulations. I think we finally made Hillsdale great again. It truly is an honor to stand before you today, and I thank you for that. When I first visited Hillsdale College, it was President's Day 2012. To celebrate, winter brought the only gift it could, with one of the worst blizzards the college had ever suffered. Dr. Arnn addressed those of us who had come anyway. He said, "We put the college in Michigan, because how would you get the work done if you live somewhere warm?" That struck me as a weird sales pitch. But weird yet, it worked. Now, 4 years later, no one here needs a sales pitch for Hillsdale College. Not at this point, at least I hope not. But maybe we could benefit from one final sales pitch for the liberal arts, a defense of what we just spent 4 years doing. In our age, Western heritage has been replaced with multicultural studies, and the honor code with political correctness, and the confusion has gotten so bad, we don't even know where to go to the bathroom. Yet here, we continue to embrace the wisdom of the past. Today, the liberal arts are under attack, and Hillsdale College is the best defense it could hope for. For weeks and months, as we approach this day, many have asked us the same question: what are you going to do? We've heard it all of our lives. What do you want to be when you grow up? It used to be possible and even cute to say a basketball star, But among us, the only person who can say that without people laughing is Kyle Cooper. The rest of us need a better answer. Now that I'm all grown up, my answer is to be an entrepreneur. And I can't think of a better preparation for this than the one the liberal arts has given me. I've heard it said that entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life, like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. And the same could be said for the liberal arts. Our Hillsdale education has allowed us to live unlike most other students. We've read the old books and engaged in a dialogue which recognizes that the answers are not easily found. We've come to better understand ourselves, and we've undertaken a profound inquiry. What we've done is at its core entrepreneurial. Few of my classmates would consider themselves entrepreneurs, yet for all of us, the last 4 years have been an entrepreneurial pursuit as we questioned, analyzed, and searched. The word entrepreneur comes from a 13th century French verb, entreprendre, meaning to do something or to undertake. In Dr. Steele's History of Economic Thought, we learn that the first academic use of the word was likely in 1730 by the economist Richard Cantillon. He identified the willingness to bear the financial risk of a business venture as the defining characteristic of an entrepreneur. This willingness to bear is essential for any successful entrepreneur, but also for the student of the liberal arts. For the last 4 years, we have struggled under the brilliance of the great thinkers. The work which accompanied our pursuit was hard, but the weight of the practice itself was also silently present. Whether we recognize it or not, the pursuit of the liberal arts presents real danger to students. As we question our perceived reality, evaluating the mores which root us, we run the risk of being deceived by sophistry. Plato's Protagoras might be helpful here, partly because I'm still trying to impress Dr. Arnn, but mostly because Plato says something worth knowing. For I tell you, there is far more serious risk in the purchase of doctrines than that of edibles. When you buy victuals and liquors, you can take the advice of an expert as to what is fit to eat or drink and what is not. But you cannot carry away doctrines in a separate vessel. You were compelled, when you handed over the price, to take the doctrine in your very soul by learning it, and so to depart either an injured or a benefited man. The kind of education we have embraced has been rigorous, unrelenting, and even incendiary. Pursued in solitude, it had the potential to consume us and to leave us the slaves of deceptive ideologies. Done correctly, it required a partnership to sift through the appeals of the great thinkers as we question the legitimacy of their claims. In cooperation, we chose to bear the burden of the liberal arts because of all the questions it compels us to ask. Cantillon shows us that both entrepreneurship and the liberal arts are inherently risky. Yet another economist suggests the passion for discovery moves both the entrepreneur and the student to embrace this risk. For Israel Kirzner, entrepreneurial discovery gradually but systematically pushes back the boundaries of sheer ignorance. Just as the entrepreneur dissolves his ignorance in the discovery of hidden opportunities, our embrace of the liberal arts erases our ignorance, driving us ever closer to a knowledge of the truth. At college, we grappled with the nature of man, his purpose, and his role in the governance of our society. We examined the concept of justice and what it looked like rightly applied. We questioned the efficacy of our modern world, and we asked for advice from the greatest thinkers of our heritage. In that rare instance, what we thought we knew was proven true, though more often, in a moment of disbelief, our assumptions were exposed to be woefully inadequate. For Kirzner, that surprise, which accompanies the realization that one has overlooked something in fact readily available, defines entrepreneurial discovery. And it also encapsulates the liberal arts. When viewed as an act of entrepreneurship, our education begins as an embrace of introspection aimed towards discovery and culminates in an unexpected moment of awareness. In this moment, when our ignorance is found only to disappear, entrepreneurship and the liberal arts arrive at their greatest potential. No longer is either practice solitary, but instead the focus now turns outward. As the Bible says in Galatians 5:13, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." To some, entrepreneurship and the liberal arts seem like selfish acts. The entrepreneur innovates for profit, and the student seeks after knowledge. But in these individual pursuits, something amazing happens. When the discovery of opportunity is followed by action, we begin to serve others. For the entrepreneur to profit, he must innovate, creating a solution to the problem he's encountered. He puts his discovered knowledge to work by improving the lives of others. And the student of the liberal arts can do the same. In our study of the good, the true, and the beautiful, we have inherited a unique opportunity to apply our discovery to the pursuit of our life. In everything that we do, if we embrace the liberal arts as our guidepost, we become equipped to lead those who are lost. The education, then, which is truly enlightened, is not content simply to contemplate, but rather aims to put contemplation into practice. When we unite the revealed truth of the liberal arts with our vocation, our education equips us for influence. In Shakespeare's The Tempest, this one's for you, Dr. Whalen, Prospero serves as a warning to the one who abandons his duty to others for a zealous pursuit of the contemplative life. I, thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind with that which, but by being so retired, or prized all popular rate in my false brother, awakened an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him a falsehood in its contrary as great as my trust was, which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. Prospero's selfish pursuit of knowledge came with a cost. The abdication of his duty to rule brought only hardship, leaving his nation exposed and his family exiled. To pursue knowledge for itself can leave one alone, absent, and eventually insignificant. Our education then must pursue knowledge with an appeal to our greater purpose. Economics has provided me with an understanding of how the world works, but literature and the humanities have shown us what the world ought to be. The beauty of the liberal arts is found in this dialogue between what is and what could be. As we leave the seclusion of coffee breaks at AJ's and lectures on monopoly markets, we must be reminded that there is work to be done. The world increasingly embraces all that is wrong, false, and ugly, and we are among the lonely few who have all the right questions. None of us made a mistake in embracing the liberal arts. To those who suggest otherwise, ask them, what is the good? My friends, we can do that now.